Jumpstart. Get ready to jumpstart. Get ready to jumpstart. Get ready to jumpstart. Get ready to jumpstart. Hi, Coach. Hey. Getting ready to jumpstart. All right, we got a lot of participants on. Y'all ready to jumpstart? Jumpstart. Get ready to jumpstart. Get ready. Get ready to jumpstart. Get ready to jumpstart. Patrice said, hey now. Stephanie said, hey, Coach Erica. Everybody said, hey, Coach Erica.
Hey. I can't see everybody's comment.
All right, let's get started. Let's get ready to jumpstart.
Hey.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Coach Erica. So good to have you on today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Well, for those of you who are new, welcome to our Jumpstart Brainstorming with Bosses. Today we have the one and only Jumpstart boss, Coach Erica Rogers. So in just a moment, I'm going to have Coach Erica introduce herself, and we're going to go over something that's, somebody says, we ready. Somebody says, hey, Coach Erica. Okay, so they still talking to you, Coach, in the chat box.
Hey, guys. I'm going to see if I can get the box going.
See if you can get on the chat box. All right, so listen, you guys, I am going to let Coach Erica just take it over. She is a woman that has a lot of information. She's been doing what most of the rules are now. She's already been doing it for years. So let me tell you guys a personal story about Coach Erica. So for those of you who don't know, she's a part of our squad. And I remember like the first time we went out to eat. Well, maybe it wasn't the first time, but I remember we went out to eat, and my sister, she pulled out this green bottle and placed it on the table. And everybody was holding their hands like, yeah, I'll take some. She was spraying our hands. She was spraying our hands in the restaurant. We was disinfecting our hands with the alcohol spray. I don't know if y'all remember that, but that was so cool just to see that that's just who she was. And it wasn't just that one time. It was every time. So that's just who Coach Erica is. So again, I just want to welcome you all to Brainstorming with Bosses. I'm your coach, Andrea Dickerson, and I'm so proud to have you guys on the line with us so that we can hear on just some things that we need to do as childcare business owners to reopen our childcare business. And then I still have some questions for our guests. So for those of you that's on, make sure that you talk to us in the chat box so that we can talk back to you as well. So when you have questions or concerns, you can ask them in the chat box. But I know that a lot of you all have some concerns about, look at what Ray Sean just wrote. I asked if the bottle was holy water.
It got a little Jesus in it too, Ray Sean.
I love it. I know that several of you guys that are watching us today, you all have some questions about reopening your childcare business, and they're real. We want to deal with them today. We want to give you some direction. We want to help you have a peace of mind. And so one thing I want to make sure is that these strategies that we teach you guys today, who knows what could come out of them, but we do know we want to help you prevent as much as possible. So we're not saying that this is the end all, the only way, and the cure. We're just giving some examples on what you can do to shift your peace of mind to the next level, knowing that you're doing what you can to keep your employees, parents, and children safe as much as possible. And so these are some policies that we don't want you to do just because of the COVID-19, but this is how we want us to change the industry as a whole. This is some things that we want to do and encourage you to do to shift your business to the next level, period. And so you guys are invited, those of you who are guests on with us today. We have a few more spaces, so if you knew of anybody that was going to get on, they better get on now, because once you reach a certain number, nobody else can come in. And so make sure that you tell everybody to go ahead and log in. But for those of you who want to become a part of Jumpstart Bosses of America, you can become a part. The only level we have open in Jumpstart Bosses of America is the executive level, and you can save $97 today. It's already set in the cart, so you guys can choose to join us, which will be a great decision to make, because what we do every day in our Jumpstart Bosses, we include information to keep you motivated and inspired. We give you daily prompts to have you interact with me as your mentor and as your coach. You have your money maker. So we just got out of our class, and we had one of our Jumpstart Bosses to have a 10K day, a $10,000 day during a season of famine. This is our Jumpstart Boss clap right here. Woo!
Yeah.
That is huge, to have a $10,000 day during the time when there's a famine going on. So we're excited about that. We have several different professionals that's a part of what we do as Jumpstart Bosses at different levels in their business, some with multiple locations, some in family, but regardless, you will find the inspiration and motivation you need to shift and go to the next level. You'll become a whole different person by the time you finish becoming a part of Jumpstart Bosses of America. So without further ado, I want to bring on Coach Erica. As we bring on Coach Erica, I do want to explain that this part of Jumpstart Bosses of America is something that I thought about doing. I thought that it would be a great opportunity to let people see how we as bosses should be. We should come together and brainstorm and relate to one another, and not feel as if we're competitors, but that we are our sister's keeper. And so I want you guys to, as you listen to us, think about how will this type of interaction benefit you each month, and how will it help you shift to the next level. So, all right, Coach Erica, are you ready?
I'm ready, Coach.
Awesome. So introduce yourself. Tell them who you are like nobody else can.
I am Coach Erica Rogers. I am the founder and CEO of Greatness Grows. My favorite slogan is Ready, Set, Grow. Let's grow together. I take it, first of all, I want to say I take it an honor and a pleasure to sit beside you, Coach. I learned so much from you. I'm so thankful to be a part of your teaching. I am a part of Jumpstart Bosses of America, which is an awesome sisterhood. We gain so much knowledge. We share with one another. We just get great nuggets from one another, just meeting. If you're not a part of it, I just want to tell you, it's not too late to join. You want to join in, you're missing out. But it's just a great sisterhood. We brainstorm together. We're reading together. We're reading a great book together. And it's just something about reading, but it's something different about reading when you come together on a Saturday and you talk to your sisters about what you got from it. So I just wanted to start off by saying, it's a great opportunity to just grow your business. So and then we're accountability partners. Like, we are accountable for one another. So I am truly my sister's keeper. When I say something, my sisters hold me to it, so if I need to meet a deadline, when we get back and we meet, my sisters are like, okay, did you do it? Where your proof, where your pictures at? We critique one another, not putting each other down. We say how we could come together, how it could be better. So I just wanted to put that part in. It's an amazing sisterhood.
I love it. All right, Coach Erica. So let's go. Tell us a little bit about some things that you're already doing in your business, and how clients can follow up with you and learn in depth how to do more of what you're going to talk to us about today.
So when the whole coronavirus thing came along, it's the practices that we're being governed to put in place, I've always done. So I'm often told that I have a little bit of OCD. I've come to the grips that I do. I've just always been a particular person, so I like things very particular. So some of the things that we'll have to transition into and going back, and I just want to say, like, this is a time to grow. Like, we can definitely grow. Don't look at it as downtime. Like, you gotta plan. You gotta plan your comeback. If I can say anything, like, let's plan our comeback. We got to make sure that we are successful. Everybody is happy and healthy when we go back, because life still has to go on. You know, this came about, it's not the first time that something drastic like this hit, if you look back on history. So you just got to know how you're going to go back. You know, you got to go back with a plan. You can't just walk back in the door. We will not go back to childcare as regular business, how we did it before. It will not be the same. And even if it's not just the same for a little while, it won't be the same for a while.
That's it.
So just, if I could talk about a couple different practices that I do, and it may, you know, it may or may not work for you. Some things will work for you. Some things may not. First things first. You want me to go ahead, Coach? Or
go ahead, Coach. You got me rocking like they do at church when it's good. I just started rocking.
So, first things first, we do not wear shoes in our childcare facility. Just to tell you a little bit about me, I started off at home. I started off with a family license. Then I petitioned my city for a group license. Nobody had petitioned the city for 20 years. So I was the trailblazer of a 20-year turnaround to get a family license in my city here in Michigan. So from there, I grew. I joined forces with my husband. We got a center together. I wasn't ready to jump. You know, my husband, we call him the parachute key stealer, because he will unleash the parachute. So, you know, I wasn't quite ready to jump, but I was doing amazing numbers at home, you know, so it was definitely time to grow. So we grew bigger. We moved to a center. Amazing. Over time, we started off at the center. We were, the thing is, for the center, we actually went there because we knew we wanted to get a center. We were going there to get a refrigerator that a provider had told us. Sonya had told me about a refrigerator at this place. So we got in there and we got to talking, and we end up getting a place and leasing it. Make a long story short, a couple years later, we purchased the building debt free.
Woo!
Yes.
Hey, let's do our Jumpstart boss clap on that. Woo! That's
so
awesome.
Debt free. We purchased our first location. And one thing, when the transition came, because we don't wear our shoes at home, we weren't wearing our shoes. So a lot of people were like, how are you going to transition that to the center? I'm like, I'm going to make it happen. I cannot do shoes. I've done that for several years at home, and I just can't transition over to the center. So I did this thing called the germ line. So when you first enter our center, and it's just a cute little piece of duct tape, red, if nothing, no other color, red, because red means stop. Red gets your attention, red means stop. So took some red duct tape, made a germ line, and we have a room. It's called our cubby room. So we go inside our cubby room, and the children, their parents can go in that room with their shoes on, and they put their cubbies up. Everything is labeled, and we have shoe trays. So the children take their shoes off, and we have inside shoes. So everybody orders their own clogs. That's a part of what they do. The parents are responsible for getting their children clogs. So sometimes clogs are in and out of season. As long as it's a rubber bottom shoe, children are able to wear that until mom or dad or whoever the guardian gets some clogs off of Amazon. You know, as long as it's a closed toe rubber shoe at the germ line.
Wow. Yep. Coach, let me say something. So okay. Some childcare business owners out there that have this mindset that if they're too stringent about their rules, then parents gonna walk away. But I love how you're playing big. You're playing big. It's like, I'm gonna play big in this area, or I'm not gonna do it, because I see where you're implementing a whole new shoe system. So this has nothing to do with paying your bill or a contract. Like, listen, you won't have an opportunity to owe me anything if you don't wear these shoes. So somebody else says they love the shoe system, and I love the germ line. Like, I think that is really big. Lakeisha says, so amazing. It reminds me of schools in Asia. So Lakeisha Alexander says that, and so that's really big. So big up to you. So that's something too that really shifted my level of excellence, because that's a level of excellence, Coach. That's a
Thank you.
level of excellence.
Thank
And
you.
to implement that in your business and not be afraid that everybody else in your city. So let's deal with that. Who else in the city is saying clogs only?
I know a couple providers. Anybody that has coached under me, I train them to do no shoes.
Come on.
So there are a couple providers that don't do shoes. If they coach with me and I open them, that is a system that we implement together. No shoes.
No shoes. I love it.
And the thing is, parents respect you when you tell them things up front. So that's not a shocker. When you come in for your interview with your child and we do our walkthrough, you have to take your shoes off.
Wow.
So we do have shoe covers because, I understand in the wintertime, we ladies like Uggs and some don't like to wear socks with Uggs. So we do have shoe covers for those parents, but we clean up every single day, thoroughly, every day. So we don't just clean the bathroom, the restrooms and stuff up on Friday. So because we put so much into cleaning up, we have to respect the territory. So either when you come into our program, you find out then that if this is for you, if it's not for some people. But people that want their children to be happy and healthy, they respect it to the T. They have no problem.
I love it, Coach. So Maureen says, Maureen Rameth, Maureen, tell us where you're from as well. Type in the chat box. Maureen says, I have parents purchase indoor shoes for children with registration. So that's a great alternative. So Maureen, are you making any type of stipend off of this purchase that parents are making when they purchase with their registration from you? Vicky says, instead of clogs, can they have a pair of shoes specifically for inside, so when the kids go outside to play, they will always have those shoes in their cubbies? Absolutely, right, Coach?
Absolutely.
Right. Awesome. Londa says, I'm putting this in place, the power of brainstorming. I love it. LaShonda Fraser says, yes, that's what I will do as well. And she says, I love shoe covers for everyone. Children are not allowed to wear shoes. I'm home-based. Glad to see it's also done in centers. I love it. So Maureen is from Ontario, Canada. And so she says she have her parents to purchase shoes during registration. And Lakeisha says, I like the idea of indoor shoes as well. So that is a great way to shift the industry, is when we implement this shoe policy. Coach, are you able to see these chats?
I can't. For some reason, I can't. They pop up, but I can't go to them.
Okay, so do you mind how I'm reading them off to you and things of the nature? Okay, you like that? Okay, great. Mm-hmm. All right. And so Lakeisha says, Jamila says, so the center order those shoes. And Coach Erica, I'm gonna let Coach Erica answer that.
We do not. You want me to
they say they don't see me, Coach. Hold on. I gotta get that. Can y'all see me now? She says, I only see Coach Erica. Okay, y'all can see me now. All right, girl, I have to be seen. Okay, go ahead, Coach.
They do have to have those at the initial start date. So when they start, they do have to have their shoes, because we can't walk around with socks on. So another thing here, the children, and anywhere, it becomes a fire hazard if the children don't have on shoes. So some of the children, I'm not big on it. Like, I'll do a fire drill at nap time. So though they come back in with them on, we'll wipe them down and sanitize them, but they must know how to wake up and go outside with clogs on and know that, it is an emergency and we just got to go outside. So I do things like that just so the children know. But the children are even big on it. Like, they know about the germ line. They're like, you cannot cross that line with your shoes on. They'll tell their parents. Like, if one of my dads come in and they're like, Dad, that's the germ line. You cannot cross the germ line. So it's huge. It's huge. Like I said, I've always been big on it. One of the other transitions that we're taking is, we always had the kids to wash their hands when they first came in. We're not exactly I'll tell you one transition that I did make. Yesterday I got an order in. We're doing touchless soap and touchless paper towel. So
wow.
Yeah, we just implemented that. So all of our restrooms will you won't have to touch anything. So when you wash your hands, and also touchless faucets. So when they put their hands under the faucets and their soap, they won't have to touch anything. So that's another way to become, to cease the germs and everything like that.
I got one thing I want to say in reference to that. You guys, I was on the phone with my godmom, Jewel Moore, and she was saying that there are some grants available that will help us make these transitions in our childcare business. So if any of you guys that's in the chat right now, or Coach Erica, if you know of any grants that childcare business owners could apply for to help bring on those touchless sinks. And LaShawn says, yes, I love mine. It's called an enhancement grant. I love it. Joanna says Sam's Club. So you guys check out enhancements grants, Sam's Club. Any other suggestions, Coach?
I just ordered from Uline. Uline is next day delivery. Like, we ordered them Thursday evening and Thursday afternoon about 3:00. Friday morning by 10, it was on my porch.
I love it.
Yeah, they're like literally next day delivery.
And one of the other thing I like about Uline is that if you're establishing yourself with business credit, then
yes,
you can get it on like a net 30 or net 15. I can't remember
yes,
what it was.
30, net 30.
Net 30. But you guys can get this stuff on net 30. Hopefully, if you applied, you got your PPP or you got your economic distress opportunity. So you got opportunities to upgrade your facility, you guys,
yes,
to make it, compliant with the touchless systems as much as possible. So great job. Thank you, Coach, for sharing that tip with us today. That's game changing.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, girl. I didn't mean to stop you.
No, you okay. So that was one of the things that we were upgrading our restrooms to. So when you first come in, you'll be able to do that. Just depending on, I know a lot of providers I'm hearing are saying that they're not letting parents in the center and stuff like that. But just in case they do have to come in the center, that's one of the things that you can implement. Right before this started, I had the parents to start coming in and washing their children's hands. So they came into our closest restroom and they washed their hands in there. But going forward, when we return, they're going to go in our teacher's room, which is right adjacent to our entrance, and they'll just go in, touch us, wash their hands. You can never wash your hands too much. Like, that's one of the things that kills what we're doing, is washing your hands, and wearing a mask, washing your hands and just, cutting down on it. So that's the thing why it wasn't as hard for me, because that's something I always done.
I love it.
To get to my spray bottle system that I did, and I know this is not practical in some places, because I know in some states they can't use hand sanitizer. So this is like a hand sanitizer that I came up with, and I like I said, I've been doing it for years. So I did implement these new bottles. I got to figure out something to make them nicer, but these are from you can get it from Lowe's or Home Depot. I've gotten both. So this is it's 70 proof alcohol along with 91 proof alcohol.
Wow.
Yep. So it's the mixture of the two. So I know some providers say you can't. So this is my hand sanitizer. And then another thing that I do at the end of the day, before we leave, I usually because we just make a community room at the end of the day when we don't have many children left. So it's like one big rug in there. And I have a bottle of straight 91 proof, and I just spray the rug down before we leave. That's something that I've always done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that's really big, Coach, because one thing too, when I have a personal relationship with Coach Erica. So one of the other things, she was like, she sprayed down her personal space, like at home, with that Lysol as well, with Lysol. But I think that that's huge, because you guys know, President Trump is like under the heat right now for saying ingest the about saying to ingest the cleaning product. However, the expert that spoke before him, they did explain how the corona died faster with the alcohol than any other disinfectant. And so this is something Coach has been doing since the beginning, and so I think that's huge. she gave us the secret, you guys, the green and the white. That's all I know, green and white. Okay, so somebody got a question for you, Coach. It says, and it's a little different. It says, Coach, are you requiring children to wear your mask all day?
I'm not sold on the mask for my children to wear the mask all day. We will practice social distancing as much as possible, but we know dealing with children that it's something that's going to be definitely difficult with children because they don't understand this. They don't understand why they can't hold their friends' hands, why they can't hug like they usually do. So it's definitely a transition. I won't require the children. If I can give my opinion, I just feel as though it's a liability to have the children to wear the mask, for you to require the children to wear the mask.
I love it. I love it. I see where you're coming from with that too. So Natasha Carter says, my center is changing to an outside checkpoint for daily intake, health screenings, so that in case a child is sick, we find out before they enter the building. What's your take on that, Coach?
One of the things that we're transitioning to as well, we are taking the children's temperature when they first come in. We transition to it's like a gun thermometer, and we'll take the daily attendance. We'll do a spreadsheet every single day, morning and after nap, the day and the time of when we took the temperature, to keep up with it, just to be sure that they don't have a temperature. That's one of the strikes, for the virus. So that's something that we're doing upon entering the building, them and their parent, actually.
Okay, so there are several ways that we can accomplish the prevention as much as possible. The first way that we can do it is, like Coach Erica is saying, take your temperatures before even passing the germ line. Like, nobody passes the germ line unless you've had your safety check. Or we can do it the way Natasha's doing it. It's according to your business makeup and structure, Some of us have awnings where we can do that. Some of us are looking at like the Chick-fil-A process, because I know when you go through Chick-fil-A, like even now during the coronavirus, they have people outside. You like literally don't come in at all. So you do have, that option where you can do something where you do a daily intake outside before parents even walk into your facility. But Coach is saying, what I like is there's options of how to do this. Her personal preference is, she wants for them to come up to the germ line. And then Natasha's saying, listen, before don't even walk in, just do the check outside. So, everybody's handling things a little bit different. Rhea says, do you allow children to use, have access to hand sanitizer? And of course, states are different too, Coach Erica.
I don't let the children have access to hand sanitizer. My children are trained. We spray their hands with the spray that I showed you. So I have these in the air in every classroom on both sides of the classroom. And we spray their hands, and they're trained to rub their hands together and dry them just like that in a couple seconds.
I love it. So Vicky says, well, what about staff? Are the staff going to wear masks all day?
We will practice wearing masks. It's mandated in my state right now. You can't even get in the store without your face covered right now.
I love it.
I will have one of my Jumpstart boss sisters that's a part of Jumpstart Squad. She had branded masks, so I will go back to work with branded masks.
I love it.
People from Jumpstart. Maybe I wasn't supposed to say that part.
You wasn't. That's another part, but that's okay. We wear a mask. Everybody didn't catch that. It's okay. It's okay. So you got it's all right. It's okay. All right. So here's the next question. So we have that thermometer. It's amazing. No touching the child at all. So we all, Wanda, please type in that type of thermometer for those of us who's just catching on to that type. Tell us the name of that thermometer, because Monica says, where do you purchase the thermometer from? Coach, where did we get that thermometer from?
This is from Amazon. Coach, you posted. I'll be sure Coach posts this. So this is an infrared thermometer, and you just turn it on. You just I don't have, this is a brand new one. I got two.
Okay,
So,
don't worry.
yeah,
It's
so
cool.
you just turn it on, and as soon as you point it to the forehead, I mean, it goes back like 6 feet. As soon as you point it to the child's forehead, it gives you an instant read.
All right, so you
So
got.
then we'll just, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, Coach. Go ahead.
Then you just notate what their temperature was when you took it, the time you took it, the initials of the staff, and let's get on with washing our hands.
That's it. That's it. So in Baltimore, it says in Baltimore, we are required to have parents take the temp outside the door and show the provider the temp before coming through the door. Baltimore is really like real strict. I like that. I like that, Bertina. So that's a different option. You know, parents can take the temp and show it, but just make sure that whomever you have them, you know, stopping at the door with, that person understands what the temp measure, what the temps are, what to look for. Like Bertina does, will you be at the door or do you have staff at the door that's working with parents? Crystal says, is there any fear of allergies or skin irritation that a parent will sue you from using your own formula? That's a good question.
I am the contract guru.
All right.
Everything that you do with me will have your signature on it. So before I spray your children with anything, it's in your return packet that you gave me permission to do it.
I love it. And so that is key. For those of you who do not have that checklist, you need a checklist. If you are, like say for instance, if you use baby wipes, if you clean faces with baby wipes, if you apply ointments, if you use their own baby powder, whatever it is, anything that you will apply to a child, we know as providers that we need acknowledgement that they give us permission for this. So everything that you guys hear us talk about today, make sure that you go back and look at your policies and procedures and see what you need to update. Even like Bertina, she stopped parents at the door. Bertina, I hope that your policies and procedures reflect that this is how we do business. This is how we will operate. So you guys, I'm so glad Crystal brought that up. Do not walk away from this brainstorming with bosses and just start doing things. No, you sit down, you go back to your policies and procedures, you look at what needs to have a change to it, you create the change in a written format, you send it out to your parents with an effective date of start, when these things are going to come into play so that everybody is on one accord with you. Please do not leave this video and just start doing things without making sure that the preliminary steps have been taken care of. So great question. Okay, Coach, hold on. I got a few more questions for you, okay?
Okay.
It says, what do you recommend for infant, toddler rooms, and hand sanitizer? Well, first, Nikki, have you gotten your rules from CDC yet? That will help you with that question. But Coach, I'll let you say what you was going to say too.
Absolutely. I would absolutely suggest, like, we have been getting emails every day from our state about new things that we have to implement. So we have to actually take a new class online with what has to be implemented now. So I would definitely suggest, I always tell my clients that I coach with, I always tell them that when I was starting to open, I carried that licensing book around like it was my second Bible. So you have to know what's being implemented, because when the state comes in, they're not going to hold you to what was, they're going to hold you to what is. So you definitely want to know what the new rules are. You want to become familiar with them. Though we want to protect ourselves, we have to make sure that we're doing it within the guidelines of each state. So though we're giving this advice on this live today, you still have to go back and make sure that these are rules that you can implement in your environment.
Absolutely. I love it. So that's one of the things I want you guys to walk away with, is that what we're talking about are only theory and strategy, right? So you guys can go back and get the proven process that your state has in place to keep you compliant with rules and regulations of your state. But guess what, you guys? One thing that rules and regulations will not provide you with is proven strategy. So we have our coach here today with us. She does this every single day. So if it's something that she has figured out that'll work or won't work, you better believe she can explain it to you, because this is what she has done even before before this pandemic. So I think that you guys are going to see where you'll just get some ideas to brainstorm with to figure out if this is going to be something that you can implement right away in your childcare business. Because one thing that we have talked about is that we have a lot of policy makers. We have a lot of rule makers that have never worked in daycare a day in their life. They don't even know what it's like when it comes to pulling up a student. Most of those individuals that are making rules, they have grandchildren with children. So they're not going into daycares picking up children. They're not going to stop by to see how will this really impact operations. They're just coming up with the rule that they feel will cover them as a state or as a agency or corporation, and then they're just implementing it. So it's really good that we have brainstorming meetings like this, because we got to figure out how can we make all of this work without adding more work to our plate, without being extra tired of the day-to-day that we're already faced with. Because we got new rules, not only do I got to keep up with who signed in, now I got to keep up with your temperature. Come on. We gotta brainstorm and figure this out. It says your state licensing page has a place to sign up for updates as well as quarterly updates. Okay. Tanisha says, so can we get indoor shoes for children from Uline, correct? I don't think so.
No, not from Uline.
Okay.
Your local store or Amazon.
I love it. And so Wanda Nathan put the name of it, and she also put a link where you guys can. Now, another thing, coaches, they're saying in Philadelphia, the temperature has to be like 100 degrees. Are you guys giving the temp from your agency for what the temp should be?
I haven't read a specific temp yet, but again, I'm not done with all of my courses yet. So,
okay.
Yeah, I'm not absolutely sure, but I know anything, normally myself in my handbook states anything over 97 is not normal. So
oh wow. And see, Georgia's like anything over 101. So you know, everybody has their different guidelines, but I know CDC will also give us something like kind of across the board, which they, you know, CDC says that they will not allow their rules to overbear those of your state of how your state governs you, but still you can look at that for info. Okay, so Pam McCullough says CDC recommends 100. It was 100.4. Kashani says we're doing 99. So let me ask you guys this question. Now that we are all talking about temperatures, so if a student was to have a temperature, what are you guys going to do as far as the stay home period of time? Like, what's the incubation period? Are we allowing those students to come back? Are we asking for them to come back with a doctor's note? So let's talk about that. Let's move on. We're good with temps. We know everybody has a different temp. So in the event that there is a temp, what's the incubation period, and when are we allowing students to come back? If we're allowing them, let's answer that. What are you guys gonna do about that? Coach, and then Coach, what's your suggestion?
Well, the thing is, with the HIPAA law, a child's doctor note does not have to tell you that they had the virus. You know,
come on. I was gonna ask that.
Yes, it's really up to their parents to share with you if they had it or not. So it goes back to how specific are your rules in your handbook. So if I can suggest anything, now is the absolute time to update and critique your handbook to cross every T and dot every I. If I tell a parent something in my contract, I can tell them what line it's on, what number it's on, show them their initials and everything across the board, letting them know that they agreed to it. So now is the time to definitely go back and say what you're implementing, but you want to make sure you have a parent's signature stating that they understood what you were implementing. Like Coach was saying, the exact date that you implemented. And if I could suggest one thing, you want to, I'm not sure if everybody does this, but you want to make sure you update your paperwork yearly. So you don't want to have to go back to a rule that was from, you had a student there for 4 years and you think mom or dad is supposed to remember it from 2 years ago. Yearly, you want to update your paperwork. You want to go over it in parent meetings. You want to make sure your parents know what you stand for.
That's right. I love it. So, Coach, you said something that is so good, because my question really that I was going to hit everybody with is coronavirus a part of the, like, knowing who has it and requiring testing and knowing their results? Is that a part of a privacy, what is the word, like when you violate a person's privacy, you know, like that's just like, it's a virus just like AIDS, HIV, you know? So listen, you guys, we really tripping out over Corona, but Corona been here, right? It's been here. It's just now, it's now we know that it's deadly.
Magnetized.
But, yes, it's magnetized, but you guys, we really need to think about this, and we need to have a clear one-page document that is going to deal with infectious diseases, incubation time periods, and what we require to ensure the safety of the rest of the humans that we have present, whether they're parents, children, staff, your children. Do not forget that the moment you walk out the door, you're your child's mom. You are going back into your home environment, and so you got to be careful. So listen, Childcare on this. Let's really brainstorm this. Like, what are we going to require from parents if it's HIPAA saying they don't have to disclose it? But how are we gonna deal with that, Coach? How are we gonna deal with that, participants? Like, let's brainstorm this. What's your suggestions, Coach?
I run a tight ship. Oh, I run a tight.
Come on.
I run a tight ship. I had a parent that got mad with me before this happened. I do not do runny noses. So at the beginning of a season change, I suggest vitamins to my parents. My youngest daughter is 9 years old. She has never had a cold in her life. So I suggest vitamins to parents, and it's just cleanliness. You know, I have children that I take from one environment to our environment, and they adapt. But my parents know that if their children are sick, they cannot come to school. And they know I will call you and you will come right back.
I love it.
Period of when you have to be back is written. So it just goes back to policy. You know, if a child does have a fever with us doing this, you know, and we say a child can't return back for 72 hours, medication free. But if they dope their kid up every day, you know, you don't know if they're sick. So it still goes back to your environment. How are you protecting your environment?
I love it. Now, Coach, this is good. Wanda Nathan says you need to have disclosure. So everybody type that down. We need disclosures. It says disclosures need to be signed by the parents, acknowledging they know that what you expect from them outside of the center during this time, and that they are going to honestly communicate if they have been exposed, have symptoms, or that they know we are excluding for specific symptoms, regardless of the confirmation of COVID. So these are some things so what Wanda is saying, in my mind, let me reiterate so we can make sure that we're all thinking and moving in this direction. But in my mind, what Wanda is saying, and Wanda is a Jumpstart boss, whoop, whoop. Wanda is saying, listen, we need to have a disclosure of how we want for parents to disclose information to us, regardless of COVID or not. We need to know we need to know the health state of your child before we even move forward, because this is my policy, whether it was COVID or not. And she was saying this is due to HIPAA. So parents have to sign that they will disclose the information to you, basically. Love it. Daphne Booker says they have to stay out for 7 days and can't return without doctor note. I have it in my contract that if a child tests positive, they have to let us know. I love it. So everybody catch that. We have to make sure that our disclosures and that our contracts and that what we're asking for parents to do is written. We don't want to have this communicating conversation, this conversation about it. We want to have it written down that says if you enroll your child or return your child back to our program, that you will do X, Y, Z. You will let us know this. You will let us know that. We can do this. We'll be disclosed to that. This information is confidential, but we must know. I love it. Y'all, I feel like I just had a breakthrough. Woo!
One thing, if I could say one thing, Coach, one thing that's made here, if a child is exposed to something, we're to tell everybody. We have to give notice to our parents. So
you better know it, that contagious disease.
Yes. So even if you do find out that a parent, you can't tell what child it is, but you know, you do have to let them know that the child was exposed to it because the child had it. So that's another thing that we want to make sure we're keeping up on paperwork. I know numerous of providers that have gotten written up for that, for doing something as simple as telling the parents, but not giving out notice. And you may want to get a signature for this new thing. You want to get a signature showing that you did tell them, make them sign saying, hey, I did receive that document. Because you don't want a parent to be able to say, you didn't tell me that, I didn't get that, you know. So you may want to keep track on how you're sending out your newsletters. Like, what is your proof that you gave a parent a newsletter?
So, Coach, I got a whole nother level, because I'm sure that the state, once states start opening up, I'm sure that they're going to do some visits both virtually and physically. So, childcare owners, have you spoken to your state representative about your cautiousness with their representatives walking in your school? You know, we got to have it where we are clear about what we, like, I know you come to license me, I know you come to observe me, but I just don't feel comfortable with anybody that's able to just walk through my school. Like, are we requiring them to have documentation that they are COVID free before walking through our centers?
That's good.
We need to, somebody says changes coming from the states. I love it. So we need to ask those questions. Somebody says, I wonder how I'm adjusting sick days and payments. All right, Moraine. LaShawn said, that's good. Somebody says, I always tell parents that I need information because I'm a licensed program. They always sign what I need. But you guys, we really need to brainstorm this. We really need to brainstorm this and figure out will you take and write a letter to your state asking them their procedures for their agents that they send out to us. We really need to know that, because that's important, you know, because I know I can't deny them from walking throughout my facility. I did one time. I denied a consultant because she didn't have no ID. I don't care. You got to present your ID. She didn't have ID, so I denied her that one time. But you want to make sure that you guys are asking your state, like, how their consultants are going to conduct themselves when doing your visits. Somebody says, if kids are out for 7 days, do they still pay? That's a great question for your state. You know, and that's according to how you set up your payment system. Like, I was on one Zoom one time, like when this first happened, and it was with some big corporate childcare, and I was like thinking, like, well, maybe they know something I don't know. But the guy was like, you know, and there was a lot of private pay centers, and the guy was like, well, we just got to encourage parents to pay. We got to keep parents paying. And so as much as possible, you will definitely want for them to keep with your financial agreement. But then you have to come to the reality, like, okay, if I'm closed for X amount of days, think about this. If I'm closed for X amount of days, how long am I going to require a parent to pay if I'm closed? So that should come into play with your financial management policies. Like, okay, from a realistic point of view, if I'm open and I'm operating and your child is sick, then how many days am I going to keep this child on the roster? And how many days am I going to ask this parent to pay? So that's where you have to consider, like, how you're going to manage yourself financially and your financial policies, because I'm not going to pay you for 90 days and you're not open. I don't care who you are.
No, that's right. Now, if I can say, hey, Coach,
yeah, what I said. You're going to give me something.
Listen, Coach, I'm with that, because I'm the queen of no pay, no stay.
Yes.
So you do have to take into consideration of everything. You know, my parents paid until the day we closed the doors, and I was advocating for them before that happened, you know. So I was still open, but I was still trying to be compassionate, because I'm a parent, and I know if I had to pay and my kid wasn't going, so we had a great understanding. Sometimes it takes for you to amend things on how you do things. I know right now our state is giving us a monthly grant for things like that will come up. Like if a child gets sick, so they're giving us a set amount of money every month for incidents like that. So we're getting grant money going forward. So if a kid does have to be out and they're sick, but they don't want us to like hold spots and do things like that.
I love it, Coach. So we had a lot of stuff start coming in. So here we go. I got a few questions for you, Coach. It says, Coach Erica, do you require licensing people to take their shoes off when they come for your visits?
Absolutely. I had one of the strictest licensing consultants ever, and she knew when she got to my door, she better take her shoes off. She is not obsolete. She got the same germs everybody else have on their feet. Take your shoes off.
I love it. I love it. So Maureen says, my city has not adjusted public health guidelines to accommodate. So Maureen, guess what? You need to write a letter. You go on the front line. You'll be the Jumpstart boss, and you'll jump it off in your city. Okay, Francis says, our inspectors won't come in. They're doing phone interviews currently, but I love this because when they start again, they have to wear shoe covers, and we keep in a welcome area. So love it. So Francis is accommodating. I love it. Now, Daphne, Coach Daphne says, and she's a Jumpstart boss, and so is Francis. She says, yes, I told the health department that she couldn't walk through. She said, okay, and stood in the lobby. I asked her to use hand sanitizer and gave her a mask. She did her visit from the door. So I'm loving this. I'm so loving this, you guys. We are really thinking about, I'm not intimidated with the fact that you are my licensing consultant. I'm still impressed with the fact that I'm going back home safe. The way I came out, it's the way I'm returning. Somebody says mine is required to pay a channel in Coach Erica's. She said, and I channel Coach Erica's voice. And so Rayshawn is set up a little bit different where, her parents choose not to bring their children. So that's why, but she's open. I'm talking about, when you have a child that is sick, and how long are you going to hold a sick child spot? How long are you going to do that? And how long will you typically expect for a parent to pay for a sick child spot? LaShawn said, this is great. Look, Londa says, do you, Lon, sell the shoe covers?
You know what, Londa? We order our shoe covers from a factory here, so I'm not sure. But they do ship. I can get you their information.
I love it. Well, you guys, it is 3:00. Coach Erica, I'm going to let you, is it anything else you want to share with us? Because, it kind of flowed perfectly today. I love how it flowed.
Absolutely. I'm just open for questions. If anybody want to contact me, I'm the Greatness Grows coach. So you can contact me at www.greatnessgrows.com. Or you can like my Facebook or Instagram page, Greatness Grows with 2 O's. And I'm here for you. Let's grow. Ready, set, grow. We can't do anything but bloom from here.
I love it. Let's ready, set, grow.
Wow.
Woo! Somebody said, thank you so much. So you guys, I just want to close out with just one key point that I've been talking about, because it's apparent to me that a lot of times we got so much coming at us, so much that we have to do that we forget to put first things first. The first thing I want you guys to remember is to market your business. So we can't assume that those parents that were here with us before will be the same parents that's going to come back. So be sure to market your business and have a safety plan in place for how you're going to bring new students on, how you're going to bring new staff on. You guys, I asked the question in one of our blogs that's coming up, do you really want to bring back some of that staff that you had? Do you really want to rehire those people? Wanda said nope. Somebody else said nope. Somebody else laughing. So you got to really think this thing through. You got so much on your plate. You want to be in an environment that's going to keep you focused, an environment that's going to motivate you, an environment that's going to keep you on your P's and Q's, an environment that's going to hold you accountable. Because if you feel like you're just going to flow back to what you were doing before, you missed the whole point. The whole point is to reset, to see what you need to do to really attract the right staff, attract the right parents, attract the right children, and don't stop marketing. Don't stop marketing. Okay, vacation time is over. It's grind time. Ready, set, grow. Patricia said, I hired 2 new people, buy old spirits. Come on. Ayoka says, hey, nope, I'm not hiring. I'm not keeping them same old people. Francis said there is no going back. Everything has changed. So listen, you guys, please join us and become a part of Jumpstart Bosses of America. You guys can go to www.jumpstartbossesofamerica.com and join us. Until next time, God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. Ready, Coach?
Ready. Thank you so much, Coach. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. Woo! Get ready to jumpstart. Hey! Get ready to jumpstart. Get ready to jumpstart. Get ready to jumpstart. Get ready to jumpstart. I am the visionary.